Hello, it's Aliya from Soapmaker. I hope you're doing really well. Guess what? It's our Halloween! That's right, it's the 1st of September, which means we are launching our Halloween collection today. And I wanted to show you what my workspace is looking like at the moment and just how I've got everything stored and how I'm going to, prepare for the onslaught of orders that will come later on tonight. So for us, Halloween 2021 is significantly different to 2020. This year we've got a range of stockists, which we didn't have previously, and so they've placed really quite large orders for Halloween. And honestly, I've not made so much soap before in my life in such a short period of time. So the soap room, the way that it was set up, I mean, it was set up for the level of manufacturing that I was doing when I was smaller. And now that the business is growing, I had to change things around. But I had to get my husband in to, basically have a second set of eyes on the whole place, because when you're like so used to dealing with something and you're really deep in it and you look at it all the time, sometimes it's really hard to think of something different and you need fresh eyes. So he was able to come in and basically suggest that I like move around 2 tables and I didn't need to spend anything on the space, and the space just functions so much better. So how cool is that? Saving some money. So the other thing that's quite different this Halloween compared to last Halloween is when we had just relaunched as Soapmaker Australia and rebranded and done all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like it's actually insane to think about how much the business has grown since then, because you can only sort of plan with what you think is going to happen. We were in lockdown for a reasonable part of our production period, and I'm not going to complain about it because it needed to be done, and we managed to keep pretty nasty variant out of our state, which is really great. And a lot of other states are sort of suffering at the moment and have been on lockdown for, forever. So I'm not going to whinge that I had to homeschool for a short period of time, because I know that a lot of people had it much worse. But yeah, quite frankly, it was just completely exhausting, because just a lot of things sort of happened at the same time. So there was, shortages of like larger size mixing containers that I needed. So when I was trying to scale up and have like bigger batches, I just couldn't get the size containers that I needed. And I was homeschooling during the day and then making soap at night. And at the end of like a 3-week period, I think I'd worked at least 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was just exhausted, completely exhausted. And, don't think that I could honestly keep up with that level of production the way that I was doing it. So I've had to sort of look at a whole range of things and just change the whole room around and everything. So let me just show you what it looks like now. Okay, it's a mess, a bit of a mess, because obviously it's a launch day and I'm still doing some things, but let's go for a little walk. Okay, this is my little entryway. It's my door that I come in through there. Got my cupboards. Oh, I haven't put the curtain down, but I've got a curtain here to hide all this mess. But basically this side of the room stayed as is, because I really like to have my stainless steel bench, where I'm doing most of my production, my scales, melter, all that kind of stuff. I accidentally flooded the dishwasher for the first time ever. I had these massive, mixing buckets that I couldn't really fit in the dishwasher properly, so I could only get a couple of them in, and anyway, it was a big thing. I ended up overflowing it, which wasn't ideal. So here is the main part of the room, and this is what has changed around. So this bench used to be over in that corner, and this was meant to be like my shipping station, but it just always ended up with stuff on top of it, and so it didn't get used as a shipping station. It was just sort of in the way. And then I had nowhere to store these crates, which I had to get extra crates in, because even though I'd bought another gastronome, there was then a shortage of the trays that I need for the gastronome. So I had 2 of these things taking up space, but I only had enough, shelves to like fill up one tray. So that was a real pain in the ass. So I had to just quickly go and try and find some more of these, admittedly awesome, I think these are fruit crates, and they're great. They just sort of like snap down and you can put all sorts of things in there. And then I have them on these dollies. That's what I was having to use in the interim, and they're actually quite good, like they're fine. So I had them up against this wall. Yeah, I was able to still keep this table in here, which is good because I like it. It's kind of an inconvenient height, to be honest. So when I do my shrinking on this mat, I use the National Shrink Wrap system. It does hurt my back after a while, and there's just really sort of no way around it. But this is how we move things around. I've still got some more samples to make, which you would have seen over there. And I just like to separate them out into different categories so I know that I can grab something that's going to, you know, perhaps interest that particular customer who's bought something. Like, I don't want to give them a sample of a product that they've just purchased because that's not really exciting. So I do that. And then, let's see, this is like my shipping table mainly. And I keep a lot of stationery in these boxes. I've got my shipping boxes pre-stamped. I'm going to have to probably quadruple the amount of boxes that I've got done, just so I'm not racing around tomorrow when I start shipping things out. I've got some soap cutters. I keep labels and then other, like, you know, body care accessories and things that I sell on my shredder, just under there. And yeah, that's pretty much how the room looks right now. What do you think of my new plants? So I've got these like hooks that hang from the ceiling. They're just pretty much, you know, decorative. But I've been looking for some plants to put in it, and I was initially thinking that I'd probably need to have fake ones in here because, you know, how else would they live? But the light in here is not too bad, and we're coming into summer, so I think it will get lots of, you know, natural light, and it will help with the air quality and stuff in here. The only problem is, and this is very, very frustrating, the person who installed this, I specifically said, make sure you can still open the cupboard. You can't open the bloody cupboard, can you? Grr. Okay, this is some of my Halloween stock here. I've still got some to wrap, but that's a lot of it. That's all the cold process. And what I do with my ones that don't quite turn out is I actually bundle them up and I make them these little misfit packs. So this is great for things that are the wrong size, or they're just kind of like the messy ends of loaves, or there's something not quite right about them. My customers go nuts for them because they're just a much cheaper way of buying the soap. Like, they like the soap, but for a lot of people, they want to use it all the time. So it's just nice to have a bit more of a budget-friendly option. Now, I know a lot of soap makers tend not to do melt and pour anymore just because it is, you know, it's quite time-consuming and fiddly and all that kind of stuff. But my customers absolutely love it. So it's something that I make an effort to do for Halloween. I've got some of the range in this box here. And what I tend to do is make just like opening quantity, so I can make more than this, but this is at least so that for the first, you know, 10, 20 orders that come in, I can pretty much pick what people need without having to stop and then make something or have any delays. Here's some more over here. And it's sometimes a bit tricky to try and work out what you're going to make and in what quantity. So I'm going to share some tips with you now. Okay, so I'm back down in my study now, and I wanted to show you what I do to help work out how much stock I should make for anything. There's a couple of ways. What I used to do in the early days was just simple. I would think, out of this collection, what is the strongest product? As in, like, what ticks most of the boxes? What's the right color, shape, scent? What's really popular at the moment? What are people asking for? You know, what are the people that follow you on social media looking at? Like, what types of brands are they really into? What trends are there at the moment? And, like, I say that in a type of a broad way because I don't think you should ever just purely follow trends or, you know, purely just do what people ask you to do or anything like that. You've got to put your own spin on it. But typically you can look at a handful of something and go, one is better than the other. You know, I think one's going to do better than the other. So it's a gamble, basically. You've just got to predict what you think is going to do best. So when you don't have any sales data, I think that is the best way to start. Once you have some sales data and you're starting to make those same products again, or something that's similar, be it a similar shape or a similar color or, you know, whatever, you can generally predict based on your previous, you know, sales data, what you think will do best. What I've started doing now is the email service provider I'm using, for many years it was MailChimp, and then it was MailerLite, and now I'm using Klaviyo. And when I had someone set that up for me, because it just looked too confusing at the time and I decided not to do it, I actually paid someone to set it up for me. She put this cool thing in there for me called notify me when available. This lighting is terrible. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better now. I've just had to put that blind down. Okay, so when she set it up, she included something. I don't know how she do it. I don't know how she did it. It's definitely not an app in my Shopify store. I don't know whether it's Klaviyo. Honestly, I don't know. You would have to look into it. But she's got this cool thing, and I'm going to insert some screenshot here. Okay, so the reason why this little function is cool is because each day I think it is, or maybe it's less frequently than that. I get an email from Klaviyo, so it must be something she's done in Klaviyo, with updated numbers on what people have actually clicked that notify me when available button for. So that tells me how many of each product that I should probably have ready to go just, you know, within the first couple of days. So I found that to be really, really helpful. It helps me know when something needs to be restocked. Like there might be a particular product that, you know, it's out of stock and people say they want it, so I make more. And that seems to keep everyone happy. And, you know, it's just nice to have some real feedback from customers. So if that's something you can look into, I'd suggest that. So you might be thinking, why don't I just make a ton of everything and then try and sell it? Well, the reason for that is I only have so much in the way of materials. So it costs a lot of money to order in the soap base here in Australia. I know it's pretty cheap in America, but because if you can imagine that, you know, we're just a tiny little continent down here. Well, actually we're large, but we're very remote from everywhere, and these products aren't really made locally. So everything has to be shipped in. It's much more expensive. And so I've got to be quite clever about how I spend my money on materials. Fragrance oils are also, there's a shortage at the moment. You know, so I don't want to go putting all of my eggs in one basket and making a product that unexpectedly just flops, you know, that not many people are interested in. So I like to have enough just to keep me sane in the first couple of days, and then I know what people want and I can make basically to order. So today's launch day, but I have done so much work to get ready for today. And oh, I've just got an Instagram post that I've got to publish now. Before I move on to something else, let me just show you what I have done with that post that just went live. So it was actually an automatic post, and the second that it sort of goes live, as soon as I see it, I always like it and then save it, because that does help with your boosting. But this is what I try and do in terms of getting people, I guess, like sharing the content and getting really interested. This is what I've said. Okay. Just some of the coveted Halloween collection launching at 7 PM tonight. Be sure to tag a mate so they don't miss out. Want to plan your attack? Head over to for a sneak peek of what's available. Create your wish list by clicking the notify me button when available. So basically, I know it's kind of like breaking some rules of asking people to do several things in the one, you know, go, but I'm basically asking for shares. I'm asking people to, you know, do something, and I'm helping them I'm helping explain how they can better, you know, plan what they want to purchase. So I guess the reason I mention that is because I just want to remind you that with your marketing, you really have to be giving people something to do, I suppose. Like whenever we see something really nice on social media, you know, we might like it or we might leave a comment, but we're not really calling people to action. We're not being told what to do. You know, like we have to be told. Like, we're busy people, we've got a lot on. Like sometimes I'll see a giveaway post and I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and then I'll forget about it and I don't come back to it and I don't enter. You need to be telling people what to do. Enter below by doing blah 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 blah. So don't try and think that that's pushy. Just remember that you have to let people know what they're meant to do next, because honestly, like our heads are just so full of all of our commitments and responsibilities that, you know, we need a little help. I just thought of one thing that you probably should be aware of if you're going to use this strategy of like having the products loaded but not the stock available until it's time to go live, and, you know, encouraging people to, you know, make a wish list or notify me when available kind of thing. Just be aware that it is going to kill your conversion rate for a little while, because basically what's happened with me, and I didn't sort of think this through, so let me just share my learning here, is that because I'm getting so much traffic to the website but people aren't placing an order because it's not available yet, it looks as if my conversion rate is really terrible. Like right now it's like 1.31 or something, whereas it normally sits somewhere between like 3 and 4. So yeah, just be aware that like if you're doing monthly reporting for yourself and you're keeping track of all of those stats, it is going to look as if you had a tough, you know, week or two. In actual fact, it's not like that. So make sure you're just keeping notes about what's actually happened, so that you're aware for next year, and you just kind of know why those numbers are a bit strange. On a slightly unrelated note, let me just show you how low-key my setup is for photography. It's really nothing much. but I think that you can do quite a lot of stuff with a white background and some type of fabric background. Let me show you. You see this IKEA cupboard? That's what I shoot the majority of my photos on top of. I use this as my nice white background. I've got this wall painted in a neutral black, which is fantastic for photography because it doesn't reflect, you know, light back on. So I don't even use backdrops anymore. I literally just like photograph here and have that, you know, black background, and things look really nice and pop off that. And then over here, take you this way so you don't see too much mess. Oh, look, dirty socks. Okay, so this is another IKEA table. I've had this for yonks, and it's a drop leaf, I think they call them. So basically I just put this up when I need it. I've got this piece of, you know, remnant velvet that I use a lot for photographs. And basically I know when the sun is really good in my room. So at this time of year, I get the best photographs in here at about 3:30. Right now it's all kind of, you know, blown out and a bit blue because of the pool cover. Can you see that? Yeah. So that's something that I need to, you know, work with. But by the afternoon, the light's shifted and it's not a problem. So this is literally where I took most of my photos yesterday. These are some of the cool new things I've got available. This is a cobweb soap dish, and I'll grab the bat one. Hang on, this is the bat tray. I'll just swap it out. Isn't it cute? So I've got these coming out. They've just made it in time for Halloween. It's not really a Halloween launch, but yeah, I wanted to have them available, and yeah, that now they are. These are something that I came up with two friends of mine, two other, you know, female-led businesses in my local area, and they're made of acrylic. They get cut out locally and then assembled locally, and they're really cool. So I've got, put this in the wrong way. They've got our little logo on the back, and then some feet so they don't scratch up your countertops, and they're just super cute. There's nothing quite like this on the market at the moment, so we're really happy to have them. And that's it. I intended for this video to be short, but I am incapable of doing things briefly. It's not my way, and I think of stuff as I'm filming. So yeah, that's it. So basically what I'm gonna go do now is have some lunch because it's lunchtime and I'm hungry. Then I'm gonna basically go back over my soap room and just take a look at everything, make a list of all the things that I need to do. Like I need to write more samples, I'm going to stamp and prepare more boxes. In fact, I think I'll probably have them assembled and then just sort of sitting off to one side so that as an order comes in I can just quickly, you know, fulfill it. Basically tidy everything up so I'm not going to trip over myself, and make sure my printer's got ink, all that kind of stuff. Wrap some more soap. Oh, and also check my stock levels, because not only do I have to make sure that my stock is accurate and I can upload that so it's ready to go at 7 p.m. when we launch tonight, but I've got some other products which were out of stock and I've since replenished. So I just want to make sure those quantities are available online for anyone that wants to purchase any of those type of products, and basically just make sure that my links work, my email is set to go, my social media is all, you know, up to date, update my link tree on Instagram, pin some stuff on Pinterest, and there was some more photography I wanted to try and do this afternoon when the light was good, because yeah, yesterday didn't go so badly, so I thought I might try it again. That's what I've got planned. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for getting this far through. And if you've got any questions about how I plan my launches, or you know, where I get any of my supplies or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll help as best I can. Okay, until next time, you take care and happy Halloween. Bye.